All right, hello everybody and welcome to today's webinar. My name is Yaroslav Burchenko. I'm a Chief Market Analyst at Olymp Trade and I'm here to go through with you guys the earnings report that came out on Netflix yesterday. It was before the market opened. Let me go ahead and open up Netflix here for you. And it is a prime trading opportunity. We actually will be able to see the market in about 8 minutes. The market will open, but as you guys can see, the move that finished the market yesterday was bearish. Let's have a look real quick at the pre-market trading. So here we have TradingView. If you guys go ahead and type in the ticker for Netflix, which is NFLX. Oh, excuse me, let me share my screen with you. There we go. So we had the likes of Netflix report, right? Here was the graph that I was looking at, 30-minute. The last 30 minutes of the trading day is actually when the main action happens. Some people know the news ahead of time. There is obviously news trading. Hello, by the way, everybody in chat. I forgot to welcome all of you beautiful viewers today. Let's make some money today. Okay, so Netflix came out. We are on a very short time schedule. I want to watch the market open, and together with you, we will trade. First thing you guys do is draw out the tops and bottoms of yesterday. Actually, we have the likes of the pivot points right here, and actually they will offer us or they're supposed to offer us levels as well. So these are the highs and lows of the previous day. So for us, that would be 2 days ago. Not necessarily what we're looking for, so I'm going to get rid of the pivot points and just draw out the tops and the bottoms. And then we'll have a look at the report itself. I just want to make sure that you guys are aware that it's very important if price breaks, actually we should be doing it like this. If price breaks the top or the bottom of the previous day's trading, it's a big indication that we're going to go that way. The beauty of trading after the market closes is that you have then an opportunity to watch. So guys, have a look at this. We are already, the pre-market is open, and this big green candle at the bottom, it's covered by this E. You guys can barely see it, but basically this is the volume. And TradingView shows you the live trading volume. You can actually look at it here as well. Oh, NFLX. You guys can see the average volume throughout the day. So this is a great stock to trade because it's over 1 million shares exchanged hands every day. So going back to our technical analysis, basically we're watching for the previous day's candle to break, and the volume of trades is increasing. So we're looking for some increased volatility as well. Now let's have a look at the report itself. So you guys can go ahead and go to IR Investor Relations at Netflix.com, and you can get the information yourself. So here in the Investors Kit, actually this isn't necessarily what we want. You can have a look at the financial releases. They have different events, like you can listen to the press conference. But what we're looking for is the quarterly earnings report here in the, obviously, in the quarterly earning report section. So this is the three, if you guys remember the last video that we had, if you haven't watched it, go ahead and have a look in the history of the global channel. Actually, I'm going to see if I can find it for you guys myself, but we basically uploaded a video about how to trade this earnings season coming up, and we talked about that when each quarter the company comes out with these 3 awesome promotional documents, and that's what we have here. We have the video interview with the CEO and with the other top officers of the company. We have a letter to shareholders. Basically, it's a few paragraphs summarizing what the video, and then the financial statement. Now, this is called the 10Q. You can actually have a look at it on the SEC website. If you go to sec.gov, and I want to show you guys that website right here. This is the Securities and Exchange Commission of the United States. And if we look for the NFLX, for the Netflix earnings report, you guys can see their filings, and they should have uploaded the 10Q yesterday, or 10K, excuse me. So it looks like they haven't done that yet, but the information has been released, and you guys can have a look at that report by clicking it right here. I actually downloaded the report myself, and it opens up in an Excel sheet like so, and this information may be hard to digest for some of you beginners. Basically, what we're looking at was we're looking at the different periods. So as you can see, as of 3 months ended, so we have a full year's worth of financial data, and then we have the previous years as well included here. And so like I said, a lot of this information is very dry and it may be hard to understand. So we use the likes of Yahoo to quickly summarize and find that information. So basically you can just go to Yahoo Finance and then click Netflix, and you can look at their financial data with a period of, 5 years? They have a 5-year period of their financial data, and so we're looking, this is the trailing 12 months, we're looking at what happened in the last few years. Total revenue is growing and continuing growing. Now again, we have to give that discount that 2020 was a very unique year in profits for Netflix, obviously beat all records. But we also have this continuation that Netflix is actually expanding now. They're recording much more content, and they're expanding their lineup. And so, and a lot of commercial, not commercial, but a lot of partnerships that are also getting connected. And actually, you can read a lot of that about what's going on here on FinViz. If you type in the ticker Netflix, here we have a lot of technical data that you can use to judge where the asset will go, and we're going to use that today as well. But you can also read the news highlights about what is happening with the company, what are the breaking news, and how can it influence the stock price. So as you can see, after the earnings report yesterday, there was actually a lot of information, and even we had an upgrade from Credit Suisse that it will outperform and reach higher than what it is now. It's trading at 531. The expectation is around 586. Remember, this is just Credit Suisse's opinion, but nonetheless, the expectations are very, very bullish on this earnings report. And so back to the article that I opened, it was just about the earnings report, and just to show you that they beat expectations of revenue, 734 billion versus 732. They also, but the earnings per share, so the revenue was increased, but if we look at the earnings report, you will see that their expenses also grew. So if we look at the income statement, the cost of revenues has also grown as well. And you can see that this trajectory, starting in March, it's only grown. The amount that they spend slowly, is not even slowly, is very quickly increasing. And so we have the likes of the first quarter in 2021, very reserved, much less spending, much less than last year. And then this quarter, again, we almost beat all the records. The biggest quarter that they've ever had in corporate spending was on December 31st of last year. So they're really trying to rack up. It was that huge growth spurt for the stock market at the end of last year, and then a massive fall. And so I believe a lot of companies were trying to rack up and increase and diversify their income streams so that come the market sell-off, there will be that time and slow process of growth really enabled. So what else do we have here, guys? By the way, if you have any questions, go ahead and ask them in chat as we continue analyzing the company. So we can have a look actually at the market open right here, the first candle. So again, we are waiting and looking for the market participants to pick a direction. Again, the best kind of guidance you can have. By the way, we can have a look at the guidance from the company as well, and that will be on that company website. Letter to shareholders is the basic guidance that we can have a look for. And so it's a very short document, about 12 pages, but you can see the main statistics that the company wants you to pay attention to and see kind of what they're going for. Again, don't put all your baskets into what's written in this document. Remember, this is a promotional document. It's made to increase or agitate or increase attention to the company's stock price. And so you always have to look at the other data where they can't lie, and that's where you can get these filings from the SEC, and you can see what other analysts and what other companies are saying and they're doing, and what kind of projects they're involved in, and also, of course, their their financials, and I didn't show you guys all the way here where you can find them. So again, this is the income statement, but in financials, actually here there you have the balance sheet and the cash flow, so you can see how much assets they're accumulating, if they are investing in expanding, if they're investing in increasing their assets, increasing the value of their company. You can see all of that here on the balance sheet. And cash flow is how much money they're making, how much it's costing, how much debt they're taking on, how much investing they're doing, that kind of information. So the report in itself, again, let's read the excerpt. The report for Netflix is that they're passing the pandemic era. They're moving on, and there's this kind of fear on Wall Street about all tech stocks being overvalued, and we see that in a lot of companies. It's not only in tech, but tech, because they've been leading the growth of the entire stock market. If you look at the NASDAQ index, it's just a nice clean straight line up higher. And so a lot of the tech stocks that have been the leaders, we have the Netflix, Amazon, Google, Alphabet, the parent company, Facebook. These companies have been at the forefront of all of our investment endeavors for the last year. And so as of right now, the company may be overvalued right now. So today's a very miserable. Let's drop down to the 1 minute time frame. We're going to be opening up short-term trades, so we can see kind of the action here. Investors were not impressed. And this is what I'm talking about, you guys. Investors are not impressed. The numbers are not, significant. And of course, we're looking for a slowdown in as people go back to work. They're going to be obviously looking less towards stay-at-home entertainment. So the shift is going to be now away from that kind of home entertainment. But again, this is all speculation. This is all speculation. I would love for the stock price to on the 1 minute graph, we have our sell signals, guys. Have a look at this. So the moving averages are below the zero line, moving away from each other. We have broken the lows of, see, the lows of trading yesterday were not yet broken. And so as we break it, there's going to be more waiting on our part. We're going to wait for a pullback, and then in that pullback will be the optimal entry point. Let me draw it out for you guys on the graph what it will look like. And I'm going to go to the 5 minute time frame again, because it's just going to be a little bit more reliable. But for those of you that are really don't like to wait, again, the global trend has been kind of flat sideways. We are at the top of the channel coming down. So again, the best kind of position that you could do is open a sell trade. That's probably what we're going to do today. But I do want to draw out for you guys what the look at that. So this was a gap, guys. Have a look at this. From where this closed and to when this, obviously last 5 minutes is when we opened, but we opened with a gap down. We gapped down. That is a major telltale sign of what's going on. And then we started reversing. This kind of stop, what I see in this picture, the first 15 minutes, the first hour, is probably the most important. So after we finish this webinar, make sure that you guys are continuing to watch this asset. But again, let me show you what we're looking for. So trend line. We want to see, what I would have loved to see is a strong breakout like this, a strong red candle. That way I know that for sure we're selling. Right now, I'm not quite sure, but more leaning towards selling. Waiting for a strong breakout like that to the bottom, and then a pullback somewhere into like this area here, into this area here. I'll pull back into there, and I'm immediately looking for a nice sell. And I'm not selling for 100% of my trade amount. So if you guys can see right here, I have $35,000 on my trade account. I wouldn't be opening up, normally I would open up a $3,000 position for a trade like this. But because the market is flat, I want to make sure that we actually have a trend. So another thing that really it pays to look at before you make a decision here is have a look at the indices. So the Dow Jones, NASDAQ, the S&P 500, where are they at right now? So if we're looking at the daily graph, we're close to all-time highs for the Dow Jones, close to all-time highs for the NASDAQ. But again, they're looking iffy. Like this isn't a certain like woof strong bullish trend. This is a doji candle on the open, so it's going to be a reserved day of trading today. So I'm looking for the CCI indicator. So no trade signal as of yet. And the final index would be the S&P 500. This is the biggest telltale of what's happening in the stock sphere. And this is showing a little bit more kind of optimism, and that's what we want to look for. The Netflix is a part of the S&P 500 and a part of NASDAQ. So both indexes are important for you to watch. Okay, we broke the low of the day. Guys, have a look at this. We broke the low of the day, so our trade is coming into fruition. We're waiting. We know that now we want to sell, and we're looking for a buying opportunity. I'm going to actually put a postponed order. It's not a fact that the price will come back. This is another thing that we do want to watch. So one thing we can do is open up that position right now. It would have been best if I had the open right there. Let's go ahead and open up a $1,000 trade, and we'll tier it that we open up one here, and then one more up here in case price goes up. But again, let's confirm that we want to sell for the long term. I do want to set this up right now. I am fairly bearish, and I do like the fact that we opened and broke in the first 15 minutes. We broke the bottom of the day. It's more or less is going to be a bearish day of trading. So let's have a look again at the earnings report. So definitely a sell. CCI also broke out on the daily graph. So even for the long-term traders, this would be a good sell for a long-term trade. So they're looking to increase the amount of people that have paid subscriptions. They have been beating their records last 24 months. All right, let's go ahead and have a look at the numbers. All right, it hasn't been updated yet. Let's go ahead and have a look at them from the report itself. Actually, one more other thing that you guys definitely need to have a look at is the video interview. Have a look and see how they're done. Have a look at, it'll come in the form of, like I said, their top officers speaking. And you guys can actually gather a lot of how the company is run, what the corporate policy is, or what the corporate culture is like.
2021 earnings interview. I'm Spencer Wong, VP of IR and Corporate Development.
So we have the Vice President of Corporate Development here.
Co-CEO and Chief Content Officer Ted Sarandos, COO and Chief...
So you guys can have a look at this after the webinar is done. And basically in the financial statements, so we're looking at the very right column right here, excuse me, this one right here. This is where all of the newest data has been published. And again, you can see down here income statement, balance sheet, and cash flow. Let's go ahead. I'm quickly going to scan. I haven't looked at this document before, just so that you guys can see the thought process behind of how you want to be looking at this. We of course want the revenue to rise as the cost of revenue drops. As the company's assets, looking at the balance sheet, as the assets grow up to a certain point, we also want the marketing to grow. As your company's assets grow, and remember this is a digital company, they have digital assets, of course you want the marketing to grow. Technology and development, this is the R&D side of things. So true to their word, they have been expanding and growing their product line of TV shows, of movies, of all sorts of entertainment content, and different sign-up plans of their main product, their subscription. And then general and administrative costs. So operating income. All right, and net income. We can see that the net income in this quarter has dropped, and this is something that is not normal. Actually, it has been normal over the past 3 years. So I guess we won't, spend too much attention on it, but it seems like the second quarter is the worst quarter for the company. And earnings have really jumped up this year, much better than what they have been before. So the company is really giving back to investors. And this is also key, guys. Really keep in mind that when a company that normally doesn't offer dividends, like a tech company, once they start offering them, there will be a new pool of investors. There'll be a new wave. So if you ever hear that information in a press conference or in a press release, definitely try to capitalize on that, because that will boost the stock price inevitably. So looking at the balance sheet, we have the cash dropping as it shouldn't. Previously, June has been, or the second quarter has been a really strong month. So again, it worries me what's going on this year that is so, again, my conclusion is that people are not watching as much Netflix from home, and maybe even some of them have got rid of this subscription. I haven't followed any online trends, any social media trends, but definitely something has happened, and so we need to listen to the report from the officers of the company. Liabilities are growing, or excuse me, are dropping. And are dropping significantly, guys. Have a look at this. The liabilities over the last, so they're getting rid of any kind of payments or debt that they've accrued. So all in all, the company's in a really good spot in terms of content liabilities, but then they're racking up accounts payable, accrued short-term debt they've acquired a little bit more. All right, all in all, they're quite stable in terms of liabilities, and in fact getting better, which is again a good sign. Means that their spending is under control. And for a media company, that can be very, very important that they keep it under control. So when you have something as this, where the company is, more or less stable, their earnings were stable and they're growing quarter by quarter, year by year, it really gives an opinion that the company is stable, but again, they're not likely to be a mega growth company. You can expect 5 to 10% of stable growth of income a year, maybe even less than that. But their stock price may generate 5 to 10% a year. So what do you do? In the example of Netflix, what I would do is I would turn again to the stock price, because I don't have any grand investment ideas in terms of buying and holding the company, but I do have an understanding of where we're going. And if, say, the stock market is having difficult times making new highs, and I mean the S&P 500, if the S&P 500, see, this is the other picture, the S&P 500 is growing. The S&P 500 is growing, and if Netflix is falling, then there's some inherent weakness. There's some inherent, and what this could be is this could be a trap. This could be a false breakout. That can also be part of the picture. Again, when a big candle like this closes on the 5-minute graph, again, the plan, excuse me for moving this, the plan was to buy from up here. So I'm going to stay true to our plan. I'm going to put on another $1,000 trade, and I'm going to put it on right around here at 522.91. So there you guys have it. I want to keep the trade at 1,000, and then I want to put on a 10 times multiplier and then go down. So just in case, if after the webinar, after we have finished and closed things up, if price does go up, I want to show you guys that would actually be the best time to buy. As you can see, the price has kind of been in a long-term kind of flat. And what it does is it does this breakout and then it retraces. So the best time is not to trade during the breakout, but after it pulls back a little bit. About, again, a breakout, now we know we're going lower, and then we want to wait for the pullback to buy, or excuse me, to sell from there. Same thing, breakout, we want to buy in the pullback. And how much is the pullback? Well, generally 40%. You know that secret Fibonacci formula, 38.1? Well, 38.1 is basically 40%. So about, 40% of the move is is when you want to buy. So because I'm not greedy, maybe 35, maybe 32, because I want to be in the trade. I have a small multiplier, so basically I'm waiting for longer moves. I'm waiting for more. I'm willing to keep the position open, and actually that's going to be a feature that's going to be available on the platform for you guys, is to buy and hold stocks with 0 commissions. That's right, 0 commission trading structure is coming to Olymp Trade, so you guys are in for a really sweet deal there. Now guys, let me see if you guys have any questions for us today. I do see the unfortunate comment from O'Day Shrikawi saying that he's lost $1,300 in one day, and it's really getting him upset, making him sad. Again, if you cannot afford to lose so much money, do not use it. Don't use that money. It's a trap that we have all fallen into, where we see that we know what trading is, or that this is a great business opportunity, and we rush in, without, having any protected knowledge. Again, my trade could possibly make you money. So we're looking at the Netflix open trade right here. Right now we're minus $150, but in reality you can see that actually the trade is going in our favor. Now, my take profit is going to be at, let's see where we want to place our take profit for the trade. So we're looking at the daily range. Oof, if we do hit the bottom, very small range, very, very small range for this stock. Maybe down here, maybe at the end of the week, we might reach the bottom, maybe with a little bit more waiting. Again, I would love for my second trade to hit so that I can have a $2,000 trade. Again, this kind of income is a little bit low for myself. If a trade does go through that I planned for it to go through, I'll usually size up. So what the plan is now, you guys, as we continue to watch Netflix, the next kind of reversal that we have up to the top side, and this is a good idea to use the Bollinger Bands indicator. As you can see, it goes from top to bottom, but if we don't reach the top and we break the bottom, that's another clue that we're going down. And I want to buy, or excuse me, I want to sell anytime we get close to the 20 EMA, which is, or excuse me, SMA, which is this little peach line right here in the middle. So any of the major moving averages would serve as a good selling point. The 200 EMA would be a great selling point, so if price comes up here. But we're very, again, I'm not very greedy. Even if we get up here, I'd love to be in that trade. So let me see if I can answer any more of your guys' question. We are coming up to the end of the webinar, so make sure to ask them. If I don't get to answering your questions today, please ask them in the comments section. That's what that area is for. I personally go through and answer all of your questions that are related to trading, and you can get your answer there one-on-one from me if I miss it during the webinar. So we have Maifa Musical Group asking, nope, he's asking for my number. Unfortunately, I do not give out that personal information. Please tell me more about a long-time FTT trading currency. Well, there is no really long-time FTT trading currency, because the longest you can keep the trade open is for 23 hours and 59 minutes. So, not much in terms of really long-term, but what you can do with FTT is during times of very low volatility and where currency is very structured in its sideways movement, you can see it in a lot of cross currencies, you can see it in a lot of pound crosses, and FTT really shines in that area. You can set up multiple buy and sell orders throughout the day, and just somebody who's really good at programming basically buy and sell orders on the platform can set things up and then leave for the day, because FTT allows that kind of to open up a trade and then forget about it. So, and I don't recommend sitting there and watching your trades, as that will really hurt your nerves at the end of the day. So what period are you using, or is it best for Forex? Great question. Normally when I'm trading, I never go below the 1 hour graph, and I look at the different things that are going on the daily graph, because the daily graph shows me, are we going up, are we going down, how far away are we from the middle of where the middle of the price is. And when you're trading currency, like my friend Kingsley said, in Forex, it's very important. The range and the middle area is very important because stocks, they all gravitate to grow, right? All businesses, they want to grow. But the point of currency is to keep their value, is to stay as stable as possible. That's the whole point of currency. And so that's what you should expect from currency. And so you want to trade the outliers. Whereas if you're buying or selling stock, you want to really analyze the short-term trend and what can happen, and then B, go with the flow. And if we're selling, then continue with that selling. And so the highs and lows of the previous day are very important when you're trading stocks. And so you guys can go ahead and use those figures. On the daily graph, we have all of our confirmations. In fact, the confirmation to sell actually came last week. And then we have the CCI indicator just today give us the sell signal. And this is a one-day graph. Why? The reason, so Kingsley, to answer your question, why do I use the periods that I use? Well, because they tell me what's going to happen for a few days. And again, because I make money off trading, I want to be where the action is for a few days. And if Netflix stock is falling for a week because their earnings report came out mildly good, then that's what I'm doing, right? The market is my boss. Actually, I do have a boss, and so the market is the boss in this situation. So CFDs are the price difference between stock prices. And that's what a CFD, contract for difference. So stocks are not available. So Karthik Kenyan, by the way, welcome. Good to see you again. I do remember you, sir. Stocks trade during business hours. So the stock market is open for the 8 hours a day that it's open. And in the U.S. session, it started at 6:30 our time, or 4:30, excuse me. And then it's open for 8 hours. So actually, my work day is like right smack dab in the middle of the U.S. trading open session, and so that's why. All right, you guys, we're gonna wrap up the webinar. Make sure you guys come to our next webinar. Let me guys go ahead and give you the date to when the trading will happen. So we're going to give you guys trading tips on how the different assets correlate. It's going to be a banger of a webinar. You guys definitely want to watch it. I'm going to tell you when it is going to be live. So it's going to be the 27th of July. At 5 p.m. Guys, go ahead, make sure that you come to the video, like I said, because there's going to be a lot of trading tips. So here's going to be I'll share the link. Trading tips and other kind of fun ideas on how you can make money during the earnings season and even after trading different assets. So thank you guys so much for coming today. It's been a pleasure to be with you. I hope you guys learned something new. If you can, go ahead and leave the thumbs up button. Go ahead, leave a like. Actually, no, don't do that. Don't leave a like to the video. Make sure you make some money. I hope that Netflix keeps going down for the next 2 or 3 days. By the way, the expectation is if today closes negative, we should continue for 2 to 3 days down, continuing going down. So for those who want to keep making money and trade alongside with me, you guys can go ahead and do that. Other than that, thank you all so much for coming today. I hope the video makes you some money. Go ahead and share this video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. Other than that, see you guys next time. And make sure to subscribe, like I said, to the channel and ring the bell because we have videos come up. The streams are wonderful and you guys can have a conversation with us one-on-one, but the videos are very entertaining and sometimes they've got really good information. All right, so thank you all so much for coming, and together with Olymp Trade, we wish you all good luck trading out there and see you all next time. Peace!